Neither am I. Really? You gonna come at me that way? You gonna come at me like that? I ought to box your ears for that insolence. Hello. No, it didn't. It didn't sound mean at all. I was just joking with you. Church of Paul, scientist. Yes. Yes. I am Jesus. Jesus has returned, and his name is Paul Parkey. Well, if you skip it, there's a good chance that when you come back to it, it'll be timestamped so you could skip around. I'm just letting you know. Those of you that haven't noticed, there's a new timestamp regiment that I'm trying out. Everybody check that out. Good morning, Leon the Froggy. But then I don't get to chill with you. What's good? Hello, Cloud Massacre. Thank you for the... What is that? What am I looking at? Is it a box? Dude, I'm too blind to see. Can somebody tell me what that says? I can't read it. Looks like there's a bomb in a box. Is that the box that has fucking Brad Pitt's wife's head in it at the end of fucking... What the fuck is that? Unboxing is what it says? Okay, thank you. I legit could not read that. Might be time to get some specs, maybe. These are getting harder to do. Gonna not dance around the fucking bush. These are getting harder to do visually for me. The old eyes ain't what they used to be. I gotta get to a fucking optometrist and find out how bad this shit is. I can tell you guys this. Specs. I don't want contacts, and I don't want no fucking LASIK neither. I'll get some fucking goddamn glasses, and that'll be that. I'll weave it into my look somehow. I'll make it fucking work somehow. Don't worry about it, Angry Gamer Show. No apology necessary. Just fucking adhere to the goddamn timbre and tone of the goddamn chat. Yeah, get myself an owl Swearingen glass. And before you ask, yes, it has fucking come to this. What do you think about these UFOs? My dude, I don't even... What UFOs? What UFOs? No, I'm gonna get some glasses for sure. I don't know if I'm gonna need them all the time. I really hope not, but I feel like I'm gonna. I know my mom said that her eyes started to go to shit about 5 years ago for me, and the same thing was true of my dad. By the time both of them were in their fucking early mid-30s, they already needed fucking glasses on the daily. So I'm already 5 years behind them in terms of getting some fucking eyeglasses, and I don't even know, dude. UFOs. Oh yeah, the fucking Groucho glasses. Yeah, I wonder if they make those in prescription. Oh, it's not just my eyes I feel deteriorating. My patience. My patience deteriorate right alongside them. Give me some Junior Soprano shades, maybe. Some big old chunky boxy motherfuckers Junior Soprano wears. I think I could pull them off. I think I could make it work. A monocle. Yes, that would be the gentlemanly option, would it not be? Sir, dip, 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 munch, munch, munch. I'll dip a dip a munch a munch. Dip, 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 and a munch, munch, munch. Jiminy Glick glasses. Didn't he used to have the tape and everything? Oh. Is that true? You can go to any country club if you have a monocle? I did not know that. I did not know that was in the Constitution. Enshrined in my fucking personal liberties as such. Have you ever dealt with trespassers on your property? Number one, I don't own any property. I rent this, so no. Trespassers on your property. You ever dealt with a trespasser? No. Have you? Has anybody ever trespassed? These hair ties that I use are Scrunchy brand. And they're like the weird, like, floopy ones. I have really thick hair, so these are the ones that work on my hair and don't, like, get caught in it and don't break or stretch out or whatever too much. So, yeah, the little floopy, floppy ones are the ones that I use to put my hair up. Always joke about a scenario where I randomly hear some dude in the background say, hey, is this Paul's Ego's house? Oh my God, dude, that'd be funny. Came close to happening that one time. You guys remember when I was back in Louisiana and my upstairs neighbor was like, hey, dude. I was like, what? It's like, are you the amazing atheist? I was like, no, but I work with him. Like, oh, that's cool, man. I've been watching him a long time. I was like, all right, rock on, bro. Rock on, brosif. I'd love it if someone found that episode where you heard that crazy screaming or whatever from the forest. Somebody has. I just can't remember the name of it. TJ was how I found your channel originally. That's true for a lot of folks. TJ was one of my first big shout outs here on this channel. And probably the biggest overall shout out that I got in the history of my channel. As TJ was ascendant towards 1 million subscribers, he basically posted in total a video that I made with a little pre and post commentary on it. And I mean, I got like fucking 30,000 subs over the course of like 2 weeks from that alone. So that catapulted me from having about 10,000 or so subscribers up to about 40 in a matter of 2 weeks. That would have been probably back in like 2009, I want to say. Whenever that Casey Anthony shit happened between me and TJ, around them times. Around the time of Occupy Wall Street, so 2008, 9 maybe. Something like that. 2007? I don't really think that makes sense. I think 2009 is what we're looking at. Yeah, maybe 2010. I mean, it was at the height of TJ's channel growth and the height of the new atheism movement and the height of the great debate community on YouTube and the height of that style of vlogging. So it was a big deal. How big were you and TJ in the very early days of YouTube relative to the size of the site in terms of subscribers? I mean, both TJ and I were in the top, like, 5th percentile of subscriber holders. TJ was probably in the top 1st percentile of subscriber holders early on. There were people that had in the tens of thousands of subscribers when TJ started, guys like Renetto, these early vlogging guys. And TJ blew past a lot of those people. Now, he was never the most popular thing on the site, but TJ, you got to understand, TJ existed in his own ecosystem without much help at all from YouTube's algorithm ever, because TJ was never serving up something YouTube would on its fucking front page. You know what I mean? So TJ, relative to most people on the site, was titanic in terms of subscribers in the early days. And I was, like I said, probably in the top 5%. Like, once I passed 1,000 subscribers, I remember going like, whoa. Because back in that day, having 1,000 people that had hit the subscribe button on you was like, put me in a whole nother fucking zone of people. And really was like the impetus, honestly, for me getting noticed by people like TJ and Fake Sagan, who had these like burgeoning audiences in the new atheism community and shit. They started watching my shit, started posting video responses to me, started fucking sharing my videos and commenting on my videos, all of which were ways of like funneling a little bit of subscribership towards a person. And once I hit 1,000, I hit 2,000 real quick. Yeah, Venom Fang had a lot of fucking subscribers back in the day, for sure. A certain individual never rose to that. A certain individual was probably in the top, like, 5%, like I was, and like TJ was during the burgeoning parts of his channel. But TJ, I don't think a certain individual was ever in the top 1 percentile of subscribership on YouTube. TJ reached that pretty fucking quickly, like in a couple of years. Between the years of like 2007 and 2009, TJ just like blew up. Kaboom! Like, huge growing trajectory. Oh yeah, man. I mean, I was a young man when I made that video to TJ, and he was an even younger man when he made his video responses to me in those very, very early first videos, you know. Nah, dude, that individual was the person that got my foot in the door in the atheist community. He was my first shout out. I got my first triple-digit subscriber total from him. Before he shouted me out in a video, I was sitting at around like 20, 30, 40 subs or whatever. You know, and back in the day, that was good. That was decent. You know what I mean? So I was feeling pretty good about that. And then I, out of the blue, came home from work one day and had 120 or something subscribers. And then I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And I went and saw that Brett Keane had given me a shout out. And I was like, cool. And then from there, it just went boom, 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 boom. It was just very, like, easy because I didn't take it seriously anywhere near. How old was I then? I would have been about 27, give or take. Well, the individual had a fucking scam. The individual was reading from websites like atheism.com and other like online resources for atheist literature almost verbatim. So people thought that the individual was a very intelligent individual back in the day because people didn't realize that the individual was lifting part and parcel like articles from atheist blogs and websites and shit. Of course, you know that individual's propensity for claiming that they wrote songs that they hadn't. That was the real first falling out that TJ had with Brett was over Brett claiming that he'd written the lyrics to a song that TJ absolutely knew he hadn't. Like if you go back and find if it's still up somewhere, it might be up on an archive channel or something called I think he was called Not Too Keen, but Keen spelled the individual way. And TJ kind of like outlines his early beefs with the individual. And it's a really great piece of history because it really presages a lot of the shit that would go on to happen in the coming years. Oh, him. Oh, him. That one. He who shall not be named. Oh, it. Yeah. No, dude, the individual plagiarized and plagiarized and plagiarized. Yeah, he pulled what I like to call a Jacqueline Glenn before Jacqueline Glenn. He went and like would just read like it was his script, whole cloth or wholesale, an entire website. Like he'd read an article about how like Jesus could not have existed at the same time as people claim. In fact, there are several timelines from which Jesus would have had to simultaneously exist to make the Bible true. Anyways, this has been Brett Keane. I hope that you've enjoyed listening. Please subscribe, and thank you very much. You know what I mean? He never showed his dumbass fucking face. And everybody just thought he was like some kind of weird, eccentric, like country professor or some shit, you know? And then he started showing his face, which meant he couldn't read fucking off of scripts anymore. And people were like, why did Brett Keane get like 20 times dumber at least as soon as he started showing his face? And then it wasn't long after that he was discovered plagiarizing a poem. And like blatantly and undeniably plagiarizing a poem. And that led people to start looking into his older videos that were still up on his channel. And found a lot of other instances of plagiarism and lying and like fucking two-facedness and shit. And like he was pretty much like made a pariah within that growing community, and his channels were just fucking gone. He ended up getting banned from YouTube for his constant false flagging and shit. And back in the day, YouTube used to pretty rigorously, at least, enforce this. Like, once you're banned once, you don't get to ban dodge by creating a new channel. And so he'd make a new channel, with something that didn't have his name in it, and he'd try and make a comeback. And then like a month into this was my favorite Brett Keane period, by the way. My favorite, like if you wanted to ask me as a Brett Keane historian, my favorite Brett Keane period was this time. It was probably around 2010, 2009, right in there. Brett Keane was just being banned every fucking 2 months. He would come back and everybody would go, oh, Brett Keane is back. His name is Hassel777 now. And, you'd go over there and you'd see him, and sure enough, it'd be Brett Keane. And then like a month later, this channel has been banned. It's just great. It was great because he would get saltier and saltier and saltier every time he came back. So every time he got one of his channels back and he would get a little bit of his subscribers back, YouTube would shoot him in the head. Like, you've been banned, dude. You're ban dodging. Get out of here. And he'd find the Stallion, yeah. The Stallion. He came back as like Wolfman one time. And he used to have this intro. Like, he had a different intro. like every time he rebranded, he wouldn't just say like, "Hello, this is Brett Keane." He'd be like, "Hello, everybody. This is the Stallion 777. Hello, everybody. This is BK Wolfman. Oh, how's it going, everybody?" You know what I mean? He tried to like. He wouldn't only like rebrand like in terms of naming. He would rebrand in terms of like, yeah, hello everybody. This is Mr. Evolution 77. He had like 90 different fucking channels. every time he'd come back, he would like, you know what I mean? He would make a different fuck. He would try and make a different like change to his personality and presentation. Like he was a different WWE wrestler or whatever, coming back with like, no, this isn't Brett Keane. This is Hassel 777. This is Mr. Evolution. God TV radio. Oh my fucking God, bro. He was too hot for YouTube. Oh yeah, dude. That's what it was. He did pull a pretty fucking slick gimmick one time, though. I will give him this, dude. There was this, and I hate to say it, but I'm just gonna fucking say it. There was this functionally retarded YouTuber by the name of Firefly515 back in the day, and he was a dude. He was mentally challenged, okay, and he made videos, and of course he was friends with Brett Keane. And so Brett Keane had come back as some other thing. I think this was the Hassel. This was his, when he came back as Hassel, right? And Brett Keane would dress up in this weird mask and put these weird effects on the video and shit and layer this like dark music behind it. And he put a voice changer on himself and he'd be like, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hassel 777 in a situation. You know, what's going on here?" You know, and it was just like obviously him, right? But he was trying to band dodge, you know, so he was wearing a mask and pretending to be some gravedigger or something. He was like doing like a gravedigger ripoff kind of character with a mask and like a glove on his hand. He would put his gloved hand in the fucking camera all the time, right? So anyway, he actually pulled this off pretty good. It was actually a pretty good little work because it actually had some people believing it. So fucking like he has this actually took some doing. He has Firefly 515. Oh yeah, the wart, dude. Wart. He used to have a giant wart on his hand. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He got Firefly 515 to buy the same mask that he had and dress the same way that he dressed. And Brett recorded an audio track and then sent that to Firefly and had Firefly record the video track for it and sync up with Brett's reveal and then sent it all back to Brett so Brett could edit it in the same way. And so it was a whole video of the same guy, right, sitting there sounding like Brett, like, "What's going on? It's me, Hassel 777. And I made a promise to all of you out there, ladies and gentlemen, to reveal who I am. So without further ado, situation." And like he ripped the mask off, but it's Firefly's big dumb face under there. And Firefly managed to mouth at the same time, "I am Hassel 777. Ha 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 ha." And then like it cuts off, right? And so everybody in the fucking atheist community who thought like for sure that this Hassel character was Brett was all like, there was a few of them that were like, "What?" Now, most of us aren't children anymore, you know what I mean? We understood the work immediately, but it was still like one of the more creative things Brett Keane ever did. Like it had like there was actually effort, you know what I mean? Like he took effort to pull off that whole thing. So yeah, dude, I mean you gotta fucking like give props where props are due on that. For sure. Brett used to actually have like ambitions and shit. Hey, Paul, I'm moving to Seattle with my best friend, spending all my money on transportation just to get there. We'll be homeless, but I don't have a lot of options. Any advice? Nope. I've never lived as a homeless person. I'd recommend you use your internet time wisely and fucking start looking up real quick what your options are in fucking Seattle, bro. This is the early days of editing, too, I guess. Pretty good thinking, but Firefly would be a liability afterwards, of course. Yeah, Firefly was, like I said, he was functionally, like, not all there. And Firefly ended up, like, feuding with Brett Keane at one point. Of course, like everybody else that ends up being an ally of Brett Keane's, there's a falling out situation. They fought, got angsty back and forth, and blah, blah, blah. Then Firefly kind of disappeared from the internet. Well, Happy Cabby was not the best person in the world, but yeah, he ran Happy Cabby's titty through the fucking ringer, dude. A lot of people don't remember the Happy Cabby incident because that shit was dark. There was some darkness involved in the Happy Cabby incident. So Happy Cabby himself had some pretty questionable shit happen in the pre-non-Me Too days, you know what I mean? When Me Too hadn't really happened yet. He was kind of fucking shady with some fans and shit, and had some weird, like, I don't even know how to put it, dude. Like, he got a hooker one time and, like, paid her to pretend to be his girlfriend to prove that he had a girl. It was weird. Anyway, Happy Cabby had his problems. And so, but, you know, generally, he presented himself as a pretty nice guy, just wanted to make positive videos on the YouTube or whatever the fuck. And he saw Brett Keane like a wounded animal, right? Instead of looking at Brett Keane like everybody else looked at him, like a fucking unrepentant scam artist that would never fucking change, that would stab his own mother in the back to make a fucking buffalo nickel, right? Happy Cabby decided, like, I'm going to reach my hand out to Brett Keane. I'm going to be one of the only people to look past Brett Keane's past and give him, like, Brett, like, I genuinely believe that Happy Cabby gave Brett that opportunity. You know what I mean? And, you know, he reached out his hand. He helped him a bunch, helped him set up different websites, and helped him run different live streams and shit. I can't even remember all the shit that Happy Cabby did. I have no fucking clue where Brett is. I can't help you with that. Like I said, this is all ancient fucking manatee lore right here. I don't follow the new manatee shit. I don't even know if he's making videos. I don't know where. I don't know under what moniker. I quite frankly don't care. You never had Brett's phone number. You had a Google Voice number that Brett set up. He used to give it out freely and tell people that it was his home phone number. It was a Google Voice number. And then he would set up a Google voicemail box and let people say mean things about him. And then he'd play it back and cry. Anyway, Happy Cabby helps Brett out, helps Brett set up a website, helps Brett set up, like, redo his channel, does a bunch of graphics for Brett, helps Brett, like, archive some of his old videos, makes playlists, clean up his channel, all this shit, right? And does it all for free. At a time when Brett was a full-blown pariah, like a full-blown lol cow, right? So, he makes, I don't even remember why, but he got mad at Happy Cabby, probably for talking to somebody who said something mean about him. I think that's what it was, actually. I think Happy Cabby talked to somebody who had said some mean shit about Brett. Didn't say mean shit about Brett during the talk or anything. But Brett made this video that Happy Cabby was a pedophile who was trying to lure children. And he used, as evidence of this, a video of Happy Cabby dancing in a mankini on his channel. And you know, Happy Cabby was pretty fucking pissed off by the accusation and pretty hurt. But it was just another proof to the rest of us that, like, literally you can't be nice enough to Brett Keane. Eventually, he knifes you. Like nothing you do, nothing you say, you can't ingratiate yourself enough. Eventually, you're a fucking scumfuck, and he'll do whatever he can. He'll reveal whatever he wants. You know, he just is what he is, dude. He's a reprehensible piece of shit, as far as I know. Maybe he's changed. I don't know. What ended up happening to Brett's posse that would come to DP to debate you guys? No, none of them are still around. Brett systematically had a falling out with every single one of them. Why did you and TJ move on from feminist hate? Do you regret doing it? Regret doing feminist hate? Hell no. I mean, there were some ridiculous fucking ideas being bandied about at that time. I don't feel like I ever stood in the way of actual fucking women's rights, ever. Like, there was some ridiculous bullshit being bandied about in the early days of the social justice movement. There were some hardcore rad femme fucking ideas that are just fucking ridiculous. So no, I don't like regret doing that content. I guess if I regret anything about doing that content, it's giving a bigger spotlight to a much smaller section, like cross section of fucking feminism, and having people walk away from that with the impression that that included all of feminism. But as far as like pointing out the bad ideas and making fun of them, no, I have no regrets about that. Did you see the AMA of the girl that dated Bright Keen's son? She answers some stuff about him, and supposedly Dorn just has Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, I didn't. I actually think somebody may have sent me a link to it, and I read through some of it, but it was all, like, I didn't read the whole thing because it was all just confirming shit I already knew about Brett. And at that time, I was really, really adverse. At this point, I'll bring up, like, shit I know from the past, and ancient memes and shit. Like, we've gone on a little tangent here tonight talking about old shit, but as far as keeping up with what's going on with that manatee over there, it's been since about, like, when did DP break up? Right around then. Since I've heard anything new about what the matinee is up to. I do miss the kayfabe of the DP days, but it was a wise decision to move on. I mean, whether it was wise or not, I really don't care. I was bored of it, and so I'm glad to have moved on from it because of that. It's like a new lease on the internet when you fucking realize that you're wasting your time spinning your tires in the mud of malicious nobodies. You know what I mean? It just bounces off, rolls off the duck's back, as they say. Working on all cinder blocks, as they say. Fortunately, the Bible Reloaded is still around. They make good content still. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I never subscribed to them in the first place. Nothing against them, but as far as I know, of Hugo and Hannah, or sorry, Hannah and Jake. My bad. I always fucking got them mixed up. That was an honest mistake. Hannah and Jake. As far as I know about them, they were always cool to me. I've had some like run-ins with them on Twitter and shit, but I consider all that shit to be good-natured. Who could forget the rind of Zeodadal? The rind that we all remember. The rind we're all forced to repeat. Zeo Dadon. I have Dinor as my Discord profile picture. Good for you. You like my rafters? Thanks. Now get the fuck out. Get a profile pic, make a new account, and come back. Probably the last person to say this, but DFF is way better than DP. Just stop with it. Embrace the new. Let go of the old. I haven't watched a whole lot of DP since the split, but from what little bit of it I've seen, it has a whole different energy than it used to. And so either get into it or get out of it, you know what I mean? Billy's a cool cat. My cup has drip. It does. It's a cup of just plain water, and I filled it from my faucet. So that's where the drip came from. My beard has drip now, too. My beard has really helped me with drinking nothing but water, because there's really functionally no way for me to drink without a straw. And I can't abide that shit. I have to drink like a man. I want my goblet to my lips. Faucet water in America, isn't that poison? If I was hooked up to the municipal water supply, I would agree with you. But I'm on well water, baby. I drink water straight from the ground. Some of the tastiest goddamn motherfucking water that you'll ever drink. No need for a Brita filter or any of that shit. Just tastes beautiful right out of the fucking tap. Economos hungers. Fiji water. Man, are you getting ripped off? Fiji water, you fucking dupe. That water ain't from fucking goddamn motherfucking Fiji, and it ain't no goddamn different than the goddamn bottle of cheap ass fucking off-brand bottled water sitting next to it. It doesn't taste any better, or like if somebody took a fucking glass of like a Fiji and filled it up with a fucking cheap off-brand, you know, water fucking bottle and capped it all off and sealed it all up, you'd drink it and not know the difference, dude. You're just getting ripped. You, my friend, are being taken for a ride. You, my friend, somebody's taking you for a long ride. You, my friend, I think somebody's taking you for a long ride. Oh, that's better. I look like a true Dane. A Dane? I'm not a Dane. I'm an Irishman. I've got no proof of Danish. Unless you count the gut that I have from all the Danishes that I've eaten. Fat? No shit. I just made that joke. I'm Irish as fuck, dude. British, Irish, French. Them's the three. Then there's a little bit of German and a little smidgen of Norwegian. Throw it all together and what do you got? You got a palsy go. Yeah, dude. I was actually kind of disappointed when I got my shit back. I am 100% European. There's no proof of shit else in me at all. In fact, when I first got my results back, there was like this 0.001% broadly Southeast Asian. And I was like, oh. And then within a week, that disappeared. And it went from 99 to 100%. And I was like, fuck. Nope. That's TJ and Scotty. TJ and Scotty have 1% Ashkenazi or Ashkenazi Jew. I have no shit. I'm all fucking European. I'm Neanderthal as fuck. A goddamn cave dweller. I'm Irish, but real Irish. Don't know about DNA. Well, you know what I mean? If you did a DNA test, it would probably confirm that you are indeed Irish. Yeah, cave dwellers turned industrialists. Indeed. Clan of the Cave Bear. That group of prehistoric humans really fucking interests me, man. there's really strong evidence that there was a group of prehistoric humans who worshipped cave bears. They decorated their caves and adorned their caves with paintings and skulls and bones of cave bears. There's evidence around where they lived that cave bears were laid to rest with like dignity and respect, resplendence. The fuck was going on there? They were bear furries, maybe. Or maybe they kept them as pets and rode them into battle. You realize that the extinct cave bears that we're talking about were like roughly like half again as big as a grizzly bear. So they could have like saddled those fucking things up or trained them to fucking motherfucking battle other tribes and shit. And when they died in battle and shit, they brought them back and they buried them in honor. Think about that shit. Huh? There were prehistoric bears that were even larger. That's what I'm saying. I literally, they were called the European cave bear. They're an extinct species of bear that was half again as big as a grizzly. So a grizzly plus 0.5. Giant animal. Giant fucking animal. What do you think make people believe in delusional conspiracy theories? There's not one answer to that. There's a lot of studies that have been done on conspiratorial-minded people, and I'd recommend that you go look into them and find some peer-reviewed studies. A lot of psychological studies point to some different indicators. Like, for example, alcoholics or adult children of alcoholics have a strong conspiratorial correlation. That doesn't necessarily equal causation, but it's one of a number of subsets of people that have a strong inclination towards conspiratorial thinking. Half again? Yeah. Is that not a fucking easily understood way of talking about something that's bigger than something else by half the size? That's how I've always said it. People who have insecurities in general tend to be more predisposed towards that type of thinking. Maybe so. It's the most ridiculous conspiracy theory that you've heard recently. I mean, honestly, it's not going to blow anybody's mind. The fucking vaccine-related conspiracy theories are absolutely bonkers, bad shit, insane. Is it true that fucking Joe Rogan went full, like, they're putting microchips in our vaccine on one of his recent shows? Did I hear that shit right? He backpedaled on it. Why did he go there in the first place? He saw where the wind was blowing and he flipped the script. Yeah. Dude, I have a theory about Joe. Do you guys want to hear my theory about Joe Rogan? This is my own little conspiracy theory about Joe. I want you guys to open your mind to a possibility, okay? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Open your mind to a possibility that Joe has signed this multi-million dollar contract, right, with fucking Spotify, right? Or not Spotify, fucking who did he sign with again? Was it Spotify? Right? Spotify. Let's say that he signed that contract, took the money, and let's say that Joe is not happy with some of the constraints that that contract puts him under. Okay? Let's say that Joe, despite liking the money, is weary of having this corporate look over his shoulder kind of mentality, right? This other set of eyes on his content, and he's trying to get fired. He's slowly ramping up in his mind. Maybe he hasn't come to the realization yet that he's wanting to. But that Joe is going to get crazier and crazier until Spotify fires him. Lets him keep his money, gets him off the fucking platform, lets him go back, and then he's going to come out and tell everybody, like, look, dude, I hope you guys fucking believe me. Don't believe any of that shit I said. Don't believe any of that shit I said, dude. I was just trying to get fired out of that fucking ridiculous contract so I could actually talk to people again. What do you think, dude? Am I crazy? Is this a crazy conspiracy theory? Do they pick the guests? See, I don't know. Nobody knows. Joe hasn't, like anybody else, Joe doesn't reveal the particulars of his business contracts and how his business is structured and the particulars of his fucking shit. He doesn't share all that shit. They took down a bunch of other shit, though. It wasn't just TJ's interviews that disappeared, but yes. After Joe signed with Spotify, they scrubbed a bunch of his old interviews, including both of TJ's appearances, completely from the platform. Yeah, it's like 50 or more, I think. I think I've heard something like 60 plus episodes have disappeared. TJ episodes on Spotify still. Yeah, so it might be just them migrating certain episodes, taking them out of the rotation and putting them, archiving them or some shit. So, I don't know. Is what it is, dude. All I'm saying is... What you gonna do? I never met Joe Rogan, no. I did take a bunch of this tincture that Joe Rogan gave TJ, because I met TJ when he came to LA to be on Joe Rogan the last time. And that also coincided with the LA meetup. So that was the first time I met TJ. So he went on Joe Rogan, and then when he came home from that, I went over and chilled at his place, and he had this tincture that Joe Rogan gave him. I brought a bunch of other weed, and Joe said, man, you got to be careful with this, man. 1 or 2 drops under your tongue. TJ was like, all right. And so TJ told me that, and I was like, let me look at this shit. So I put like 2, 3, 4, 5 big drops on my tongue, and I was like, I guess we'll know. And later on, me and TJ were taking swigs out of that. I think Joe might be a little bit of a weed lightweight, because if that tincture fucked him up to the point of being, because he told TJ, he was like, dude, if you take too much of this shit, you'll be fucking out. TJ was like, whoa, all right. Me and him were drinking out of that bottle later that night. I'd take a swig. He'd take a swig. It was just tincture. It was like weed tincture. You can have weed in pretty much any form you can think of now. And this was like little drops of fucking tincture that were supposed to be heavy fucking duty. Both of us are big boys. But there's no fucking way, bro. We drank that whole bottle that night, dude. That was the lemon tree conversation. That was the trip that Pimpmunk got fucked up on them gummies. Something fierce. Pimpmunk was gone on the gummies. Oh my goodness gracious. We try to warn Pimpmunk too. I try to warn everybody, but I don't stop a motherfucker. Like, I ain't nobody's daddy. So what I did was I brought a bunch of fucking gummies. And I said, look, guys, these are no fuck around gummies. You take one or two of these motherfuckers and you chill back. Because unless you're a fucking hard-ass stoner, you're not going to want more. And all the other people at the party pretty much listen to me. Like, even the chicks that were there. Like, at that time, I had just started dating Ashley, so she was there. Fucking, you know, it was just everybody was there. Fucking was, boop, gummies, boop. One gummy and then done. And everybody had a good time. But Pimpmunk, like, he watched me and TJ. Me and TJ opened that pack up. We were sitting there having that conversation. I was, like, eating them by the threes, you know what I mean? Throwing them down. TJ was matching me go for go. It's kind of an unspoken rule that, we never had a competition. This is one of the fun things about when I met TJ. So we had an unspoken weed off that day for about fucking 12 straight hours and then came back the next day and did another 12. That's how we got to know each other. It was unspoken. There was never like a, let's see if you can keep up with me, motherfucker. But it was just like, I would eat 3 gummies. TJ would eat 3 gummies. TJ would take some tincture. I'd be like, pass it over, man. Bloop, bloop. I'd light up a joint. We'd share that whole motherfucker, puff for puff. I'd load up a bowl. Me and him share that motherfucker. You know what I mean? It was go for go. It's pretty crazy. And Pimpmunk got tired of watching me and TJ sit there and eat them gummy bears. He was like, man, I ain't feeling nothing, man. Pass me them motherfuckers. And I'm like, all right, Pimpmunk. Scooched the baggie to him across. He took 5 or 6 of them and tossed them back and ate them. He's like, fuck this shit, man. Blah, blah, I don't feel shit. Fucking hour later, Pimpmunk was baba. Literally in the chair like that, dude. Like that, right there. I remember we held TJ's glasses up to his face to see if he was breathing. I was like, dude, hold your glasses up to his mouth and make sure that he's like, he's like, oh, good idea. Took his, put it up to his face. Shit fogged up. We were like, all right. He was off the goop. Pimpmunk was off the goop. Dude, he would wake up every once in a while and like butt into the conversation with some nonsense, bro. Well, not even nonsense. He would say like, man, I don't even know, man. I'm fucked up, bro. Something like that. And I'd be like, Pimpmunk, you okay? You cool, man? I'd be like, man, I don't know, man. I don't even And then like fucking 5 seconds later, homeboy would be out again. Pimpmunk was off the goop that night. Faux show. He's off the GOOP. He's off that goop. You got a horror trip? A horror trip? What do you mean, man? Like bad trip? No. Horror trip? Yeah. Bad trip? No. Jeff said everyone in old DP wear man whores. Where you guys living it up? What? Man, what the fuck? Dude, do you speak parle usted inglés? Who said what? Who said what now? I'll let you try and clean that one up. Jeff the Killer as a DP drama attempt? I'm fine with it. What are we talking about? Jeff Holiday called me gay? Oh, fuck. What? When? Is this real? Are people just trying to stir it? Or is this real? Jeff Holiday called me gay? Well, he's half right. What happened? Somebody explain this shit to me. I'm interested now. Seriously, did this happen? I'm gay, dude. Sounds like that old kayfabe. I have no fucking clue. Whatever, bro. Jeff Holiday said all of DP slept around a lot. Shows what Jeff Holiday knows, because I had one girlfriend the entire time I was on DP, and only slept with that one person the entire time, for the entirety of DP. And I've slept with, hold on, let me do my count. I'll give you guys my fucking high-ass numbers here. You guys ready for this shit? If you're talking about like having actual fucking full-blown penis and vagina sex, you guys about to be bowled over by this number. I'm a 41-year-old man. What a slut. So I don't know. Shows you what Jeff Holiday knows about anything about DP. The motherfucker was not involved in shit. He was like a guest on DP back in the day, but he might be more involved now, but I don't know what the fuck he knows about shit. He said we were all man whores and that I was gay. Never smoke perk. Ever, ever, never. Whatever, bro. It is what it is, dude. I don't know why Jeff Holiday has occasion to have my name in his mouth, but something tells me I'd rather not know. No, I didn't, Joanne. I would tell you guys if I did. There'd be no reason for me to hide that shit. But I'd be just telling fucking storybook tales if I told you I tapped that. I did not. I'm not gonna claim I didn't want to, but I was otherwise engaged, and I'm not a cheating fuck. So I don't do that shit. Per, of course. I am but a man. I just saw the mounds, exactly, man. I just saw the fucking shit. I saw what I saw. That's that. Nothing happened between me and her. You guys leave her alone about me, too. She hates my fucking guts, and rightfully so. Do I want to dock with Jeff? I don't know, dude. I guess. He wants to bring it over here. I'm not going into it. It's none of your business. We had a falling out as friends. It sucks. I'm pretty much to blame for it. But it ain't my story to tell. So don't worry about it. It's somebody that I don't even want brought up in here because she and I don't speak anymore and I don't want her bothered with my shit. I miss your back and forth with Jim. Jim ass, yeah, he's a funny dude. I don't fuck around and tell and shit. And I don't tell stories out of school. Like I was just raised to keep certain things close to my chest, you know what I mean? Like it ain't my fucking story to go dragging up drama between me and a fucking former friend of mine. Free money for the deer leader. Love the streams. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Put that in the weed jar. Recently rewatched the 24-hour show. Lots of fun. Cool. Cool. I only have two. Only two balls. Birthdays don't get sadder. They just lose their kind of magic and luster, man. Like for me, birthdays went from something like back when I was a kid, like a younger dude in my 20s and shit. I look forward to my birthdays because it meant a big party and presents and fun stuff. And like now, I just kind of like I'm cool with people just giving me a phone call and being like, "Hey, happy birthday, bro." And I'm like, "Hey, thanks, man." It's not a sad day for me. It's just not like a fucking let's bend over backwards and do a backflip and celebrate type of day either. Today's the first birthday I was not looking forward to. Oh, Marshall's birthday. Well, happy birthday nonetheless. Whether you were looking forward to it or not, Marshall, happy birthday. 22 and I find my birthday's fake. Dude, I feel kind of bad. I talked to you earlier, Marshall. You didn't even tell me it was your fucking birthday. I feel like that's something I should know. I feel like I'm a bad friend for not knowing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You look like a monkey. And you smell like one too. Ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum. I prefer that version to the original Happy Birthday. And many more on Channel 4 and Scooby-Doo on Channel 2. Ow. How many times have I done cocaine? Under 5 in my life? All in my early 20s. Say like 3 or 4? What drug you done? Palsy go. What drug you done? What drug you done? Palsy go. What drug you done? I wanna know what fucking drug Paul done. I gotta know what fucking drug Paul done. What's cocaine like? I don't know, man. It feels dirty. It feels pretty good. Gives you like a rush of energy and a kind of like a really pro-social buzz to it. But the come down, I remember being kind of gross. I remember feeling gross doing it. Just not a drug that yeah, the drip feels weird, numbs you up. Yeah. It's just a very strange drug. And it's not a drug I'm ever interested in doing again. I haven't done it in, fuck, how long would it be now? Close to 20 years, probably. Just not my shit. Smoke crack like a man. So on the topic of drugs anyway, you have any advice on using weed while on antidepressants? Nope. Speak to your doctor. Dude, talking to someone high on coke is crazy. Unless you're also high on coke. In which case it feels very normal. But yes. I used to do about 20 years ago before I got into a gunfight. Oh, gotcha, buddy. Are you like an ex-desperado? Smoke weed every day. Hey, hey. What drug you done? Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. What drug you done? Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. What drug you done? Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. What drug you done? Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. What drug you done? Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. What drug you done? Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. What drug you done? Is there anything you miss about your old life? What do you mean my old life? What period of time should I look back on as my old life? Because I just have a life in my mind. So what is my old life? Like my past? Do I ever miss my past? Pre-internet career. Do I miss my past? No, not really. Like, not any more than I miss my future. I had good times in my past. I had a good life. Had its problems. It wasn't perfect. What am I supposed to do? Look back over my life with a sense of fucking constant malaise? Absolutely not. I am what I am because of those days. Part of my personality was forged during that time. Very true. Very true. My overwhelming obstinance was born. Really not born, but honed during that time. And my absolute unwillingness to be walked on was really born out of that time in my life. And as such, you see me sit here before you. It's like those people who went to state or something in high school football and never grew up past it. Yeah, like Uncle Rico from fucking Napoleon Dynamite. Bet you $1,000 I could throw this football over that mountain. I really could have done something, man. I really could have been something, man. If they'd have just coach just would have put me in, man. We'd have won that game. Any really bad examples of someone getting you to do something for them back in the day? Bad examples of people getting me to do something for them? He's talking about like me being like a doormat or whatever. Like, I mean, yeah, there were times where people took advantage of my kindness and took advantage of my friendship in various fucking ways that need not be fucking fully detailed here. But, you know, that's all water under the bridge, hence why it need not be detailed. Old stories like that just are better buried. If it's buried between the two people involved, then why bring it back up in the form of a story, you know? But yeah, been taken advantage of, been used and abused. I'm every bit as friendly as I used to be. I'm just not so fucking quick to give people a goddamn fucking thing, including my time and attention. Chad really wants a spicy bull story tonight. They're digging for the spice. I've shared a lot of spice with you guys over the years. I mean, come on. How much spice do you expect exists? What were you like at age 18? What is the word that is... Because I know the word that I would use for it, but I know that this word is probably not a good word. What is the word for a young white man who uses a very kind of black affectation to his voice that I can use? I don't think it is, dude. I don't think, you know, because it implies that I'm a white Democratic urban. It wasn't real, though. I lived in the suburbs, so, you know what I mean? I couldn't claim urban. Eminem, a douche. Oh, shit. And I back up off the chronic for a second. Holy fuck. A Uyghur. White chocolate. Whew. Coughing is good for you. Yeah, it shows initiative. Well, I mean, wannabe, maybe, I guess. Like, for me, it was a natural function of hanging around with a lot of Hispanic kids who listen to nothing but rap. And a couple of white kids that I hung out with all listen to rap. And I had a very... It wasn't full-blown, like, parody kind of shit, but I definitely had a very, yeah, a soul neighbor. Play that funky music, white boy, you know? I was a fucking kid. What do you want? How long did it take to grow out of? About as long as it took my parents to kick me out of the house into the real world. That's how ingrained it was. As soon as I had to go, like, actually apply for jobs and live in the real world, I just stopped doing it. What song were you listening to in the car when the black dudes laughed at you? That was Let the Monkeys Out, or Let the Monkey Out by Redman off of his album Docs the Name. Let the monkeys out. Dude, I was bumping it so fucking hard. And me and my fucking white ass, lily white fucking friend, Waylon, were in the car. He was in the car with me, and we were bumping Let the Monkey Out. Let the monkey out. Show them fools what it's all about. Holla out, y'all. Say, ooh, ooh, ah, ah, ah. And we were going fucking nuts. And then I looked over, and there were legit 2 black dudes dying in an SUV next to us. Dying. Oh my God, dude. I never felt so white in my life, dude. That was the whitest I ever felt right there. Reality check, yeah, for real, dude. They weren't even mad. They were just dying. Whatever. We just kind of fucking pulled away, and that was that, you know. You fell asleep watching Black Panther. Yeah, that's a pretty white moment. Looks like those whites are at it again. Did you make eye contact? Yes, very uncomfortable eye contact, which caused even more laughing in the car next to us, in the SUV next to us. Dudes were dying, and then I like fucking looked over. We're at a stoplight, you know, and I like looked over, and one of them was looking out the window, you know, and like, made eye contact with me and started dying harder. And I was like, man, let the monkey out. That's what it's all about. Come on, red light. Oh my God. And a new core memory was born, yes. One of those moments that never fails to make you cringe it up ever so fucking slightly. Just, yeah, that's some fucking top shelf. That's some top shelf cringe right there, yeah. What are you going to do? That's part of being human, isn't it? Like looking back on shit that we've done. Like I'm trying to think, what are some other cringe fucking memories? I've told you guys the eyelashes. That's a mega cringe, man. I'll never forget that shit as long as I live. The fucking eyelash story, that's some cringe. No, man, no. No, no, no. No, no, no. Yeah, dude, this is why weed exists, to forget the cringe, to forgive yourself for the cringe. That's really, you could never forget the cringe. It's like a scar. Did I think of one? Out of multiples, bro. Look, a man has to keep some of his cringe close to his chest. Look, some cringe I'll share with you guys. But if I share every cringe, we can't do it. You know what I mean? A man has to hold some of those memories personal. You know what I mean? Or find a better venue. Like sometimes it's not even really my fault. Like sometimes the cringe moments that well, yeah, I mean, I was involved. Like there was I'm trying to think of how to tell this fucking story. There's this dude I went to high school with, and I kept partying with him after he graduated. He was a year ahead of me. So he graduated a year before me. I was still in high school. I was 18. And there was this chick that graduated with him his year, 1 year before me, who I was also friends with, that he was all fucking in love with. Everybody knew it. And we were all sitting around and we were watching Princess Bride. I'll never forget it. We threw on Princess Bride, right? And everybody's sitting around. We're all baked. We're sitting around in somebody's fucking apartment. We're all baked out of our minds. And this girl, now I got to tell you about this chick, dude. She was a dancer, all right? And I never really had a thing for her until this night. She just suddenly, like, I was sitting in a recliner that was right next to a couch. And she was sitting on that couch kind of next to me in the recliner. And all of a sudden, like, very quietly, like a fucking cat, bro, she crawled like across the couch over onto my lap and shit. And I was like a ballerina type dancer, like a modern slash ballet. She was like a dance major. Yeah. And so anyway, like she ended up, no, we didn't poke. I didn't poke her, but I probably could have that night, to be honest with you, because she was throwing fucking game. She got up in my lap and laid across my lap like some kind of fucking human cat or something, and grabbed my hand and put it on her. And like I felt like when I touched her body, I was like, God fucking damn. She was rock hard. Like, not in an unpleasing way, not in like a fucking like, but like just like fucking like there was not an ounce of fat. And so anyway, she ended up in my fucking lap, basically lap dancing. Firm, exactly. Firm. That's the word. Firm. With a capital F. And then all of a sudden I became aware of eyes on me that weren't hers. And I looked, and instead of watching the Princess Bride, that dude who was all in love with her was just looking at me like. And I'll never forget it. It's like burned into my fucking mind. It's like burned deep, 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 deep in the mind. I'll never forget it. It was just like that. He was just like wide-eyed, like. And the Princess Bride was on behind him and shit. You know what I mean? So I was like, I had my hand like on that ass. The firmest ass. The dancer ass. And I didn't stop. I made a decision right then and there to go like whatever. I'm not going to fucking tell her to stop. You're going to have to come over here and stop this, bro, because she's a dancer, man. What do you want me to do? She's dancing. Bands can make good dance. Bands can make good dance. Bands can make good dance. Hey, bands can make good dance. She hit the flow. Next thing you know, shorty got low, 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 low. Oh my God. Sorry, bro. But I'm definitely not gonna fucking stop whatever this is. But it didn't go anywhere. She was just trying to fucking probably rile him up, honestly, and used me as a puppet in the whole thing. But I was a willing puppet. She could put, you know what I mean? She could have put her hand up my ass any day of the week. You could have Eiffel Towered. Oh my god, I can't even think about that, bro. That would have been insanely awkward. Like, chick was tiny. So she was like 5'1" on a good day. So that would have been that's way too short of an Eiffel Tower, bro. I would have been like, I would have been able to, like, if I leaned my head forward, I fucking would have landed in his chest hair and shit, dude. That's too. This wasn't gonna happen. That look, dude. That look that he shot me. I'll never forget that. He was just like, I can see it still. And I could see the scene behind him on the fucking TV when Inigo Montoya first meets fucking, what's his name, in The Mask. They have their little sword fight or whatever. It's just like, man, I don't know what to fucking tell you, bro. I didn't start this shit. Like, the 1,000-yard stare, yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Like, that used to happen at parties all the fucking time. Where, like, I'd get skeeved out because like, I was at a New Year's Eve party one night. And this chick who I was cool with, right? We were friends. And it never, like, we might have, like, jokingly flirted with one another. Right? But it never came down to us sleeping together or nothing. And then I went to this crazy New Year's party out in the middle of fucking nowhere in the Central Valley, one of these fucking farmhouses. And it was just a blowout, dude. Just crazy. Just teenagers as far as the fucking eye could see. And this chick was there. We ended up chilling. And she ended up just like at 3, 2, 1. Same kind of fucking situation. I was sitting on the couch and she was sitting next to me. She threw her leg over me and fucking straddled me and started making out with me and shit. And that shit went from 0 to 100 real quick, right there. We were like, the full dry hump situation was happening. And then I realized that there were like 2 or 3 thirsties in the goddamn room fucking the vibe up. Like everybody else, there was most of the people at the party were just going about their business. But there was like 2 or 3 thirsties in the room, like, and I could feel their eyes on me, and it was just like, oh man, fuck. Can't do that. Thirsties, man. Fucking player haters. Burning a hole in what's going on for me with their fucking eyes. Inconsiderate as fuck. Thank you, George Cush. Indeed. Couldn't perform under pressure, exactly. I mean, a true alpha Chad would have fucking tapped it right there in front of everybody at the party. But there are so few of those. Dude, there's no way. Fucking thirsties. Yeah, see? Roberto, I bow to your Chadhood, my friend. I mean, I didn't stop immediately, but I just knew it wasn't fucking going anywhere. You know what I mean? I knew it was gonna fucking like run its course, and then I was gonna be like, all right, let's, you know what I mean? I knew right then and there, like, fuck, I'm not gonna get laid tonight. The 1% would have stared back. Dude, the 0.001% would have stared back and went like, that's when you get her number. I had her number. She was my friend. You must be an Aries. Yes. I am an Aries. I'm as Aries as they come. As Aries as it gets. The level of social skills that make you thirsties in the first place. I mean, I don't know, dude. Thirsties ruin every goddamn motherfucking thing, though. What are you going to do? Another cringe moment that I remembered. I'm delving deep in the cringe for you guys tonight. Is also another fucking high school story where I've already told you guys that, like, through high school, I chased basically one chick the whole time who, you know, no hard feelings or whatever, but she kind of played the whole, like, we're friends, and I don't want to be your girlfriend, but I'm going to treat you like a boyfriend in every other way privately. And so, oh man. Oh, fuck. All right. There was a night we ended up at a party. And up until this point, she had only kissed me. And it was a very chaste, quick kiss a couple of times. For me, it was enough to keep me going. But at this party, we ended up passing out in the same room. And I was on the floor. She was up on a bed with another chick who passed out. She crawled down off of the bed next to me on the floor and kind of got in the, like, the little spoon position, right? And I was fucking flabbergasted, dude. At this point, you guys got to understand, like, it's hard to fucking explain. There was all this pent up fucking, it wasn't just sexual repression or whatever. There was plenty of that. But there was all this pent up expectation of what this was supposed to be like. And I froze like a fucking zombie. It was like she had to tell me what to do. And I knew what to do. It was fucking cringy, dude. I will never forget laying there in the goddamn fucking moonlight and having the chick that I was in love with fucking coax me through a freeze up she's trying to fucking get it on. Maybe not fuck, but like fuck around. Yeah, the whole Todd image of romance and the whole fucking thing, and then like the idea that there were people in the room again fucked me up. You know, and that's just like cringe, man. That's 16-year-old cringe just coming back to slap me in the face. It just comes roaring out of my past. You don't forget that shit. You look back on that shit and you go like, God, fucking what? It's bad, dude. You weren't there, man. It was awkward. She eventually just kind of gave up on me, I think, and went to sleep. It was fucked up, bro. Oh, she remembers it too. Garen fucking teed she does. There's no way she forgot that shit. It was cringe the other way for her. Oh man. A weird one I remembered from my 20s. This was when, okay, so I was living in Arizona. I was dating a girl, but she was still back in California. I was saving up money. She was saving up money for her to move out to where I was. And I worked with these two chicks who were kind of wild. I guess kind of wild doesn't fucking cover it. I was not a fucking boss at this time. So when the bosses weren't looking and shit, they were always back there doing whippets and shit. And I think they liked me because I'm an easygoing, accepting guy, and I didn't rat them out when I caught them doing whippets and shit, because I didn't give a fuck. It wasn't my job to rat other people out for doing whippets. So they approached me at one point. Well, they didn't approach me like right away, but they started being more chill with me. Like they would come and like hang out at the store and chill when I was on my break. We kind of became friends, I guess. And I honestly thought that they were gay. And that's all, like, I thought that they were a couple or whatever, and I didn't care. Um, but these two chicks, eventually what it came down to was they basically they were hippie chicks. Definitely like fit that whole hippie chick kind of mentality. And they started off by telling me like this sex club that they went to in Arizona, this like swingers club. And they were trying to get me to go to that with them. And I was like, oh man, ladies, dude, number one, I got a girlfriend back in California supposed to move out. Number two, like, that's not my fucking scene, dude. I don't think I could fuck with a bunch of fucking strangers standing around and shit. Like, I just ain't, I don't have the constitution for that shit. Like, you guys go knock yourselves out. I appreciate the invite and everything. And then one of them was like, it took a minute to register, too, what was being offered. She was like, well, we don't have to go to the sex club to fuck around. Like, why don't you just, And I was like, my brain froze for a second. And all that could come out of my mouth, it was like, how do you respond to this in the negative? How do you respond to this in the negative? And so all that came out of my mouth was like, no. And it was like, that was when the cringe moment happened. Because it did, Man, cringe-topia. Was your old teens just cringe? No. Fuck no. I mean, most of it, but not all. Oh, yeah, I can hear the whole fucking thing. Yeah, I'm embarrassed, just remembering it. Don't beat yourself up. You only get to be young and dumb once. One of the things I beat myself up about when it comes to that one is that probably at the time I said no to that, the chick that I was dating back in California was blowing some other guy. Like, she cheated on me constantly. She's like, she probably fucking upped her numbers by at least 10 while we dated. So there was really not even any fucking reason for me to turn it down. I did it out of a sense of loyalty to somebody who had no loyalty. And that sucked. Fucked up situation. Rip indeed. Wah, 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 wah. Hard luck stories from young Paul. No, all this shit had to happen to me, bro. I gotta tell you, I had to learn. I had to learn. I had to learn the hard way when it came to this shit. I really did. When it came to relationships, I had to fucking learn the hard way. And let me tell you, dude, I dragged myself through the fucking shit to learn that. You just have to, like, I don't know, dude. I had to learn the hard way. Every goddamn lesson when it came to that shit, I had to learn the hard way. Did open relationships exist in any form back in the day? Yeah, they did. There wasn't a word for it or whatever. Like, open relationship wasn't even really a concept back then. So it was mostly done on the sly. I think I was being invited into one. Because those chicks were into each other. I don't know if they were dating or whatever. But, you know, I think I was being invited into a throuple situation or whatever you would have called it back then. But there was really no name for it. It wasn't something that, like, I think a lot of people went around advertising that they were doing. But I can guarantee you it existed. You know. Were they hot? Not really. I mean, they weren't like, look, dude, I have different fucking measurements too than a lot of people do in terms of what I find hot and shit. And neither one of them, I wouldn't consider either one of them my type, but they were not unattractive. They weren't like hideous or anything. They just weren't, you know. Did they stink like hippies? Yeah. They were hippies. You chose to be the better person. That's what matters. Is it really, though, dude? Is it a testament to my good character, or is it just a missed fucking threesome? You know what I mean? Ultimately, like, would you guys really look at me any different if that story had gone the other way and I was like, so I cheated on this girl, but it turned out she cheated on me way more, you know? Like, would you really think of me differently? Probably not, you know? I would guess not. The fuck? shape appears. Invisible. When you get old, you get bitter about the chicks you didn't bang. It's not even really a sense of bitterness. It's more cringe. It's just like any secondhand cringe stories. Probably a bunch, but like, I don't know. I don't harbor those types of things. Like, it's really the cringe that involves me that becomes the most like memorable, you know? TJ's cringe stories would be funny. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Jake, go get a profile pic, please, and then come back later. We know TJ's ultimate cringe story, though. Which one? Cutting the fat was great. TJ would just walk off the show. Dude, there were so many. I remember there was one time where he walked off in the middle of a... It was actually the one where I put the chainmail on for the first time. I put the fucking chainmail helmet on and I started asking for my squire. And TJ at some point got up and walked across the studio, which at that point was an actual studio apartment in Bellevue, Washington. Walked across the studio and went into the cabinet that was filled with liquor and just grabbed this big giant bottle of bourbon and just started drinking slugs of it out of the bottle. He just like sat up on the fucking counter and just started drinking bourbon out of the bottle. Have you seen my squire? Has anybody seen my squire, Paige boy TJ? Has anyone seen my squire? My horse needs shoeing and my boots need shining. My horse needs saddling, my sword sharpening. Where's my squire? My squire must attend my needs. Has anyone seen my squire, Page Boy TJ? Has anyone here seen my squire? Oh, man. Oh, man, yeah. That's true, we did. There was not enough Sir Eats a Lot. No. That's true, there was not. I agree. That should have been a nightly ritual, me putting on the chainmail. And just busting on TJ. Scotty loves to torture him about it more than anything. Yeah. It's true. Dude, I flushed the chat once on my own. I actually flushed the chat for the first time, and the stream is still up here somewhere. But it was back in the days when I was in the apartment I was living in Bellevue. So still on DP. And then I flushed the chat for the first time. It's up on the channel somewhere. I just don't fucking remember which one it is, but good luck. It's like a treasure hunt. I flushed you guys the first time there. That's where I invented the chat flush. And then TJ loved that shit. And he fucking, I remember the time he and I flushed the chat together. He was like, you know what? We should flush these motherfuckers down the toilet. Because chat was just shit that day. And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right, dude. You're fucking right. We need to flush these motherfuckers down the toilet. Went and got the Ziploc bag. threw you guys in it, put the fucking phone in the goddamn toilet, and flushed it. I told you guys the next time I do it, too, I'm upping the ante. I'm going to take a shit on you. If it ever gets to that fucking point again, you don't want it to get to that fucking point. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to make stream history. I'm going to put you guys in a plastic bag, and I'm going to take a dump right on the chat, dude. It'll be the first time in fucking stream history. I've never heard of this happening. I'm going to shit on you. So I'm just warning you. I will get banned for it, but you know what? I'll go out like a mouse. It was great because we were underwater and we could hear you screaming, "You motherfuckers." Oh, shit. Oh, boy. Good times, great oldies. Dude, you guys want to know what an underrated old episode of DP is, in my opinion, and an episode that I feel like could have been way better if, number one, if YouTube wasn't so stingy, and number two, maybe if it had been run a little differently? The Coppercap appearance. When he was in his trans phase. I was so fucking tickled. Go back and watch that goddamn episode. I was fucking laughing my ass off. I was laughing my fucking ass off that whole time and trying to feed Coppercap lines and shit and trying to give him antagonism so he could get all fucked up. And we had to talk to his Meemaw, you remember? Oh my God, that shit was fucking great. And I remember like Ben and TJ were pissed at the end of that episode because they, it was a live stream and they felt like Coppercap had endangered our live stream or something because he literally pulls his, like he didn't do it like he looked like his cock and balls are visible at one point in that episode. He like came up out of the fucking bathtub and his cock and balls were coming out. He did the whole episode from the bathtub with his titties out. Oh, man. I remember at the end of that episode, I was dying laughing and everybody was so pissed. And I was just like, all right, I better fucking contain this. Oh, I loved it. Fat ginger sitting there in the tub with his titties out. Oh my God, it was beautiful. It was beautiful stuff, man. I had a lot of fun on that episode. Another great underrated episode of DP, in my opinion, was I believe the first or second appearance of Casey Tron on the channel. Casey Tron was another person who I really liked collaborating with. She was a fucking hoot to work with, dude. There was an episode where I was in Texas. This is when I was living in Texas and calling into the show. And she was on with me. And I just remember she had a bit going on where she had like this dairy farm. And it was a way for her to call attention to her tits without calling attention to her tits. So she had this fake dairy farm. And she would talk about milk and udders all the time, you know what I mean? While she was titty streaming. And it was a big kind of gag she was doing at the time. And I remember we were talking about like, yeah, she talked about getting milked. Like I was talking about the milking machines at her farm because I was trying to tease out that she was talking about her titties. And she just ran with it in a way that I didn't expect. I was like, yeah, the milking machines on the farm, like, how are those on the cows? And she was like, oh, they're perfectly fine. Trust me, they don't hurt at all. And I was like, they don't hurt at all? Like how do you know, though? And she was like, she just played demure with it. She was great, dude. She's a great improvisational performer. She was a great guest to have on. She's fun. Yeah, the Onision private episode. I remember that one being pretty fucking funny too. Pretty fucking insane. I don't know if that one's available anywhere, but that's a fucking good one. Dude, that's the most underrated episode of DP of all time. That one that we found out that Kane was running for mayor. And that, of course, back in 1998, Kane's brother threw mankind off of Hell in a Cell through the Spanish announce table. You know what I mean? I had the song for that out like the very next day. Yeah, you did, dude. Way back in 1998, when the brother of Cain. Oh, TJ's brother, have you heard the news? Kane's running for plumber of Knox County soon. Oh my fucking god, bro. That shit was hilarious, bro. The more we did it, the madder chat got. Scotty got madder too. He got madder. Oh my god, man, that episode was fucking amazing. Of course it got annoying. That was the point. That was the point, bro. The point was that it got beyond annoying, but we kept doing it. That was the point. That's what made it funny in an Andy Kaufman-esque way. We did like an hour and a half of that straight for that show that night, at least. Y'all do an episode on the War of 1998 where half the world's population died and the government covered it up. Shouldn't even be talking about that, dude. You shouldn't even be discussing that openly, first of all. Hear a little fox nosing around out there somewhere. There's a little fox nosing around. I can hear it. How are the foxes doing? As far as I know, they're fine. They're drinking the water I put out for them, which is probably the best thing I could do to help them thrive in this environment, because it's pretty dry where I'm at, so they probably have to range pretty far to get water, I'd imagine. So it gives them an easy spot next to where they're living to drink. I demand to see TJ's tomato farm. You ain't the only one. Trust me, I'm his fucking lord and master, and he won't even show me. He won't show me the fucking tomatoes. Oh, fuck. J. Cole's new album? I have not. It probably died, lol. Wow. Wow, buddy. You're a real fucking sunshine ray. Do you know that? You're a real sunshine ray. Who's over there? That's just where the fox is nosing around. I think she's outside my property in the bushes out there, hunting crickets. One less chirp. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.